Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PokerGO pre-show. It's Dave Fair alongside Remco Rinkma, and we are in Ivey room here at the ARIA, and this is really something. This is a historic room.
I mean, I've been coming to the ARIA ever since they opened it, and I don't want to brag, but I was here on the opening night of this entire complex. I just happened to be in Vegas in December of 2009. I walked into the poker room. I played some $4, $8 mixed games as my eyes were locked on the Ivey room, and I was thinking, wow, if I ever get a chance to just walk in there and see what's happening, I'd be the happiest man in all of poker. But then all of a sudden, this happens, and I'm sitting in the Ivey room. I just lost $200 in the Ivey room, and no, we were not playing poker. I had to
he was just settling up his fantasy football entry.
I was squaring up some debts over here. But it is kind of crazy to think that at this very table, you know, the Tom Dwans and the Phil Iveys and, you know,
millions of dollars being pushed around this table regularly.
Yeah, like guys like Dan Bilzerian sit down here with you know, 7-figure stacks, and even though as we are about to go live, you know, we're being told like, okay, guys, after the show you got to wrap it up. We got some big guns coming in. They're going to play some big cash games.
They actually told us, and this is a true story. The tournament director here, Sean, who's been nothing but great to us, he did come in and go, guys, just a little heads up for you. If during the show today, Bobby Baldwin decides to call up and say, hey, I want to come play right now in Ivey room, you guys are going to have to stop the show and just pack up and leave because, like, we get it. That's cool. They're the big guns, so you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
So at any point during the show, we apologize if we have to go dark. That's exactly what happened. But let's talk about the historic moment that's in front of us, because Poker Masters for the very first time is here, and it's on PokerGO. And, you know, it's an exciting time for PokerGO being able to put together this event. And on PokerGO, you get over 100 days of live poker every single year, and World Series of Poker final tables, and just signed a new deal with the World Poker Tour. There's going to be the Borgata Open coming up on September 22nd. Poker After Dark, of course, has become very popular again here on PokerGO. If you're a poker fan, you have to be subscribing to PokerGO. And we actually have a promo code for you here at the bottom of the screen. You see it says Masters17. If you've been thinking about signing up for PokerGO, this is the perfect time to do it. We're 20-some minutes away from the very first Poker Masters going live on PokerGO. Like I said, very exciting for all of us. Just use that promo code Masters17 and get a discount on your annual pass.
Yeah, and let me jump in right there as well, because, you know, not only is the Poker Masters going live in about 20 minutes. So, you know, you can get ready for that, get that popcorn ready, and start watching that $50,000 event with a feature table today, and then a whole bunch of final tables in the upcoming days. So not only that do we have that on PokerGO, we also have an enormous archive of everything that we've been showing on PokerGO over the last couple of months. So if you've missed any of the action, and I know it's busy times, and, you know, it can get late sometimes in these poker tournaments, you can rewatch all this stuff at your own leisure. So that is one of the beauties of the game. On
demand, it's beautiful. You can fast forward and rewind and the whole lot of it, and you can watch on all your devices too. So if you want to watch on your computer or on your phone or Apple TV or Roku or Amazon Fire, no matter what it is, you can watch on all of those devices. And in my opinion, it's the best couple of bucks that I'm spending every single month, because as a poker fan, they used to have poker sort of splattered all across TV all of the time. You know, that's slowed down a little bit in the past few years, and so PokerGO has stepped in and is really carrying that torch again. Masters17, and you're going to get a discount on that annual pass. And of course, a great time to do it is today with Poker Masters right around the corner. Now, Remco, let's talk about what Poker Masters is, because people are familiar with the Masters, say, in golf, but in Poker Masters, this is a unique format where the best of the best from the poker world are all coming together to battle it out and see who is, in fact, the very first Poker Master.
Yeah, I saw a lot of players here in the ARIA poker room sort of like gaze over at the action that's ongoing here in the first event of this series, and everybody was sort of like, what is going on here? Like, every single top player in the world is right here, right now, in the ARIA, and they are all playing in this first 50K event, and it's just crazy to think that all these guys are, you know, battling it out against each other.
So it's a 5-event tournament series. There's 4 $50,000 buy-in events, and then one $100,000 buy-in championship event. We're talking 7-handed table, 30-second shot clock, 1 re-entry allowed per $50,000 event. And this is interesting, no sunglasses and no headphones at the table. So what that's going to lead to is more table talk, a little more interaction from the guys, and in my opinion, just a better viewing experience for all of us that are at home watching this action go down between these top players. And then the player with the highest earning total across all of the event wins the purple jacket.
I mean, I think purple looks great on me, so I wish I had a chance to play in this event.
Yeah.
Dave, I might bring out a purple shirt for this week at some point. But it is crazy to think that this is going to be a whole series of 50K events. They all allow re-entry, and then the 100K at the end is a freeze-out. So that is the one where you really have to maybe sit on those chips a little bit more, and it also has a much slower structure as it is a 3-day event as opposed to the 2-day events that are all going to be the 50Ks. So it's very varied in that way, and we've already seen a bunch of eliminations today so far before the stream even kicked off. So yeah, expect to see a lot of great all-ins.
Now, you just mentioned the structure, so just to give you an idea, the players in the single re-entry preliminary events will begin with 125,000 in chips, 30-minute levels there, and they're going to play down to a final table each day. So it's much like mini tournaments all sort of stacked on top of each other for this. But like you said, every single table is loaded with stars.
Absolutely. And even when you look at the table draw, you're like, wow, I'd be terrified to play against one of these players, and now they're all at the same table. So what you can expect from these final tables as well is final tables filled with amazing talent. And when I was talking to Daniel Negreanu before the start of play today, he said that this is also a prime opportunity for people at home to watch the best of the best clash and to learn from them, because we're going to have final tables that are guaranteed to be extremely, extremely tough, and that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And I think you, me, and all the fans at home can learn a lot from them.
Yeah, and Stefan here on Facebook, thanks for watching us on Facebook Live. He said, what time is this kicking off? Top of the hour. So coming up here in just over 20 minutes or so. And let's take a look at some of these names that we've been talking about, Remco, with who's going to be participating in this tournament. Daniel Negreanu, of course, is leading the way on our list here. Phil Hellmuth, Brian Rast. I mean, this is a who's who of poker.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys at home can see the names as well. Those are all the top pros, the guys who've been battling for many, many years at the highest stakes all around the world. I mean, just to mention, someone like Doug Polk, who is going to be on the feature table here at the start of the broadcast on PokerGO, facing someone like Eric Seidel, who's also at his table. And then we see, of course, Fedor Holtz, Ben Lamb. All those guys listed here are playing today. And in total, if I'm being correct, off the top of my head, we're going to have at least 33 unique players playing already, and the two latecomers for now are, of course, notably late always, Phil Hellmuth and Dan Shack. So we're going to have about 35 uniques already, and registration is still open. So if you are watching,
so these are the ones that we know about. There may be some other people that are just in town right now that decide they want to give this a shot, and they're allowed to come over and be a part of this event as well, right?
Absolutely. And if you're watching right now, you're in Las Vegas or you're within driving distance and you have some money to burn, and this is a great opportunity to play against some of the best in the world. And, I can't emphasize this enough, how crazy it is that all these guys are here to battle. This is like the super high roller bowl, but the buy-in is a little bit smaller, but you're going to get it like for 7 days in a row. And
you get re-entries as well, which is also a fascinating way about going about doing this. So guys can fire multiple bullets.
Well, Stefan Schillebel, who finished third in the Super High Roller Bowl this year, was the first player to get knocked out, and he tweeted about it already, and he ran kings into aces to get knocked out right away. And, that is just one of those things. But like when that happens, you got to get back to the cage and get back in there. And, it's a sign as well. These guys all come here to battle, and they come here with the expectation to play every single event, in the best possible way. So they're not going to just like walk away after, busting out. They're just going to try to get back in it and compete for that title.
So again, we're coming to you from the Ivey Room here in Las Vegas at the ARIA. The table that we're sitting at is the actual poker table where millions of dollars are pushed around. It's pretty cool to be in this iconic room, but also when you talk about events that can become iconic for the poker world, Poker Masters clearly to me is one of those events because it's gotten such a warm reception from all of the top pros. Why do you think that is? Why do you think they've all gravitated towards this and went, you know what? I mean, the World Series of Bracelet, that's awesome, or winning a WPT. Those are long-established events. In year number one, this is getting wide acceptance. Why is that?
Well, one of the things that we have to always keep in mind is that these top players love to battle for the big money. They love high stakes. That is what they're all about. So whenever they get an opportunity to play for a lot of money, they're going to be right there with their money, trying to play and trying to compete. All these guys think that they have the edge. All these guys think they're the best in the world. That is why they have gotten to the point that they are right now, playing in $50,000, $100,000, and also, super high roller bowl, $300,000 events. That's why this is instantaneously a classic tournament, because you get all the top players playing for the highest stakes, and they want to measure themselves against each other, and that is why this event is so much fun. So when someone like Daniel Negreanu finds out about a $50,000 tournament, that's going to pique his interest. That's going to be him, being like, oh, I got to, set the alarm clock for that one and make sure I'm there on time and playing in this event. And, that really showed today with, all these players coming into the ARIA to battle against some of the best. And, that is the cool thing, that they are all willing to battle. And that is what I love about the Poker Masters.
Now, if you haven't subscribed to PokerGo yet, as we mentioned, over 100 days of live poker every single year, and today is one of those days, so get a discount on that annual pass. Again, it's the best couple of bucks that you're going to spend every month if you're a poker fan. Just use that code MASTERS17. You'll see it there on the bottom of our screen. You're going to get a discount on that annual pass, make it even cheaper to be able to watch all of this great original programming that PokerGo is creating. Now, we mentioned the levels just a moment ago, and 125,000 in chips is what you're going to start with for the preliminary events. Now let's talk about the championship event with 200,000 in chips, and they'll play 10 60-minute levels. That's actually a 3-day event. How do you think strategy changes for these players as they go from the prelims into the main event?
Well, because these guys are all world-class players, they're going to adjust so smoothly into that different structure. But it is going to be interesting to see, once we get to the 100K event, who's still going to have a shot once they announce the prize pool, who's going to still have a shot to win the purple jacket. Because the overall money winner, who's taken home the most cash during the Poker Masters, is going to get the purple jacket. So during the 100K freeze-out, at the end of this series, that is when we're going to see perhaps some strategy adjustments based off of the jacket, and that's going to be cool. Every single player I've spoken to so far is very excited about this unique prize in the game of poker. Of course, we have the bracelets, we have the trophies. We have seen some very, very strange things be trophies in this game of poker. I mean, just a reference, there's a big alligator trophy down in Louisiana that they still give out every year. I think that's cool, but it's not a purple jacket. That is class. That is high stakes. That is Poker Masters. And that is going to perhaps influence the 100K a little bit, but I think it's going to come down to the final table for that to matter, because in the end, it's still a 100K event, so these guys want to play their best and make sure they get their money in good.
Now, David Williams and Ali Najad are going to be on the call for this, so you're going to enjoy some great commentary as well. Now, you just mentioned that purple jacket. Now, how exactly was this purple jacket made? How much work was put into it? Because the folks at Poker Central and PokerGo took a lot of time and care to make sure that this purple jacket was something that was presented to somebody and taken very seriously from the get-go. Let's take a look right now at how that purple jacket was created.
For them to mention this jacket, that to me is like, there's no better story than that. The jacket actually being the trophy, it's important that it not just be something that looks like fast fashion or looks like something that is like, in vogue now, but like if I'm a winner in 2029, I should still say, wow, I may actually take that out of the case one day and actually wear that. It's that important to like create something that's that timeless. It has to be something that when you put it on, it's like, wow, this is really elegant. Like when people think of the best things that winners in sporting events receive, it'd be great for them to mention this jacket. That to me is like, there's no better story than that.
So there you have it, how the purple jacket was made. Serious stuff for the people that were behind the making of it, and serious stuff for these pros. Now, we had a chance to talk to some of the people that are participating in the tournament and ask them, what exactly does it mean to you to be a poker master? And we'll start here with Daniel Negreanu and his comments on what it means to be a poker master. And his quote was, someone who has studied not just the fundamentals, but also the study of people. A poker master has the ability to quickly adjust to a wide variety of opponents effortlessly. And when you look at Daniel Negreanu's game, I mean, we always talk about just the fundamentals of playing good poker, but the social game Daniel is so good at, and with table talk, figuring out how to just get little nuggets out of people. In a field like this, though, do you think that's going to play a factor for Daniel Negreanu? Because when he's at the World Series, we even saw it this past year, where he'll get just a little bit of a read on some people that aren't quite as experienced sitting around playing with the likes of Daniel Negreanu. In a tournament like this, does Daniel's social game come into play?
I don't think so. And I think Daniel is very much aware of the fact that he's playing against top pros. I mean, he is among that group himself as well. Some of these players in this no-limit hold'em format, and Daniel will admit this himself as well, are better players than him in the format. Daniel, of course, known mixed game player, known high-stakes, no-limit hold'em player. But some of these guys in this event are specialists. They are specialists in the format. They are specialists in the GTO approach and the short stack strategy and the push folding, all that sort of stuff. So that's going to make a bit of a difference. However, you also have to keep in mind that Daniel Negreanu has all the experience in the world when it comes to playing in big buy-in events and playing for a lot of money. I don't think, however, that pressure and things like that will make a big difference in this event because all these players are ready for what's still to come here in the Poker Masters. And that is also one of the funny things about how these people feel about what makes a Poker Master is that they are all already Poker Masters. They just haven't won the Poker Masters yet. That's what makes it so interesting.
Jason Kuhn had this to say about what it means to be a poker master. Again, all of these different players have different comments on what it means to be a poker master in their own eyes. He says being able to adjust to all of the types of competitors for multiple days in the highest pressure situations. There is no give-me's in poker masters, right? Like every time that you sit down at the table, you're going up against the very best in the world. And I think Jason really nailed it there in the thought that it's going to be a pressure cooker this entire time.
Absolutely. And you can sort of see this strange difference between like a $5,000 tournament and a $50,000 tournament. It looks much more relaxed in a $50,000 tournament, but everybody is on their A game. They are all very, very focused. But because they are all familiar with each other, they sort of act more relaxed. But that doesn't take away from the fact that there is a lot of pressure, that there is a lot of money on the line. So, yeah, it's a very, very interesting dynamic in an event like this. And I think that, Kuhn is one of those favorites this week here. He has a lot of experience in this format. And he said recently on Poker After Dark that, the tournaments, the high buy-in tournaments, that is his specialty. So I expect a lot from him.
Now, Fedor Holtz, is he retired? Is he not retired? We don't really know, but him being here would indicate he's not fully retired. A poker master can access his knowledge of all aspects of the game at any point and can keep his focus for an extensive period of time. And I think that's a really interesting take from Fedor there about having that focus and being able to deliver that focus over multiple days. How much of a grind do you think that Poker Masters is going to be compared to some of the other traditional tournaments that we've seen these pros involved in?
It's a very different grind because you have to anticipate to get eliminated every single day. Because all these 50Ks to start, they're all 2-day events, which means that you're going to make the final table on day one, or you're going to get knocked out. And then at the final table, you're going to get knocked out, or you're going to win the tournament. And then you're going to buy into the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. So mentally, that might be a little bit tough if you start off, busting 4 in a row or 5 in a row. Then it might be a little bit hard to get into number 5 and 6 and to really take a swing for the final table. But in general, that is maybe the only difference as opposed to like the World Series main event or the Super High Roller Bowl, where you play for a few days before even getting close to any money. So the focus and the attention span when it comes to the events is a little bit different, but it also makes it more exciting because we get to see more big all-ins, more eliminations, and more exciting action at the final table.
Uncle Ron in our Facebook chat said, "I am cheerings for Phil Hellmuth." Phil Hellmuth had this to say about what it means to be a poker master. He just said really simply, a poker master is a world-class poker player.
So Phil Hellmuth, that's
Phil being Phil.
Phil being Phil.
Yeah,
but Phil Hellmuth, in that sense, is also then the poker master. And he is very excited about this tournament. He's very active on social media. He said today on Twitter that he slept 12 hours. And this is one thing I found really funny. He said, the ARIA temperature is perfect. I'm not sure like what book that comes from or how that works. But if ARIA, if you're watching, people of the management, let me know what is the perfect temperature.
Like the temperature, like out in the poker room.
In his hotel room.
You know that like every room has like a
that's what I was gonna say.
All right, forget it. And finally, Ben Lamb had this to say about what it means to be a poker master. He said, everyone playing the tournament is a varying level of a great poker player. I think one important attribute is the stamina needed to play hard and stay focused for 7 full days of poker. And when you're a high-level pro, I'm curious your thoughts on this, Remco. You kind of march to the beat of your own drum, right? So like if you're in a tournament and you play for a day or two, unless it's one of these long grind tournaments, you're sort of like, you know what, I'm going to take a break, I'm going to take some time off, and you can get high stakes action most of the time when you want it. But when it's sort of a forced 7 days of really hard grind, do you think that the likes of Ben Lamb, who are calling that out and see that in advance and know that's going to be a big part of what he's preparing for, will lend a lot to his game?
I think that in this situation, everyone is bringing so much confidence to the table that they all think they're going to win. They all think and they all expect to have good results. So that is ultimately what it comes down to. These guys, if you ask every single one of them, they're all going to say, I'm going to win. I'm going to have the best chance to win. And that is what makes this event so special, is that you get a group together of guys who all think like that. In the Super Hard Bowl, it's also kind of like that, but you don't see as many eliminations because the structure is so slow. So it builds up gradually to that final table. Poker Masters is different. Poker Masters is action. It's full-on action. Final tables every single day, and a lot of big money on the line day after day after day. And we might see one player win 2 tournaments in a row.
Yeah.
We might see one player not make a single final table. Those things are all possible.
Top of the hour is when the Poker Masters goes live, and you can watch by going to PokerGo.com. Very simple to subscribe. Just punch in that promo code that you see on the bottom of the screen there. It says Masters17. That's going to save you on your annual pass, which is a beautiful thing. You can subscribe monthly or annually. And again, just a couple of minutes away from the very first Poker Masters going live exclusively on PokerGo. 100 days of live poker every single year. Best couple of bucks that I spend every single month. I love to be able to just plop down on the couch anytime that I want, or I'll be sitting working on the computer and I'll have that second screen going with all that poker action. It's right there at your fingertips. Great on-demand viewing experience as well. And then, of course, it being live. Poker Masters, again, just a couple of minutes away from the very first Poker Masters going live. Just use that code Masters17 to save on your annual pass. Now, Daniel Negreanu decided that he was going to make things even more interesting for him coming in to Poker Masters. He decided that he was going to make not one, not two, but a whole bunch of side bets to up the ante a little bit. Tell us what Daniel did with this tweet here.
Yeah, so as you guys can see in the tweet, he has 23 bets for $50,000 a pop. Betting it in a way that if a player who bets on himself for $50,000 wins the purple jacket, they also win $1.15 million from Daniel Negreanu. So the way this works is that Negreanu allows for people to bet on themselves, or for third parties to bet on specific players against Negreanu in this prop bet. However, if Negreanu wins this, he of course collects all 23 of these $50,000 bets, which is a little bit more than 1.15 million. And at the same time, if one of the players wins that has bet on himself, then Negreanu still wins the 22 other bets. So it's a really, really interesting.
Pretty smart bet from Daniel Negreanu, right?
It's very interesting and very intriguing. And everyone that is playing, I'm pretty sure that almost everyone that is playing is betting on themselves. The players that are anticipating to play the whole stretch, guys like Fedor Holtz, Bryn Kenny, and Doug Polk, they're all firing big on themselves. And it's going to add a lot of extra flavor to this tournament, and it's also especially going to make the 100K at the end even more exciting.
All right, so Dennis is asking here in the Facebook chat whether or not we can put up the list of the players who are going to be competing again. So if we could, let's see that list one more time. But like we mentioned at the top here, I mean, this is a veritable who's who of the poker world. Some of the biggest names that have been competing in the biggest events for years.
Yeah, and also for the people watching, please keep in mind that this pre-show is going to be running every single day, and every single day we're going to preview the final table action of that day. So today is the starting day of the Poker Masters. This is day one of the first 50K. So we have a feature table running on PokerGo today, showing you all the action as it gets down to the final table. Starting tomorrow, you'll have a final table every single day through the weekend before we get to the 100K, which is going to have a feature table for 2 days before getting to the final table on the third day. So please keep in mind that these are some of the players in the event right now, but of course we still have a big field at this point in the tournament. We're going to go live on day one, which means that we don't have a final table just yet. So please know that going forward, you should tune in to this very pre-show every single day before the action kicks off to know everything there is to know about that day's final table. And tomorrow, we're going to have the first final table, and the first prize is going to be well over $800,000. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Indeed, and we're just 5 minutes away from PokerGo launching the very first Poker Masters. Go to PokerGo.com right now, subscribe, use that code MASTER17. Before we kick it over to PokerGo, a couple of names that you should know about that are competing in the Poker Masters that are on the younger side of things. So we talk about how, there's a lot of young players that are coming up through the ranks. Fedor Holtz at 24 years old has already said he's retired. He's retired because he's made so much money playing poker. He doesn't have to do this, but for Poker Masters, he decided to come out and once again lay it on the line. But as you see here, I mean, he's had tremendous success in a very short amount of time.
Oh, absolutely. I spoke to Fedor before the start today, and he said this kind of event just really gets my juices going. This makes me want to come out and play. And he is retired in the sense that he's not a professional poker player anymore who travels the circuit full-time and who puts in a lot of hours online. He is now focused on his business, Prime Mind. He is also, you know, doing a lot of other things on the side. But yeah, he is definitely one of those guys that has accomplished so much at such a young age that it almost makes you wonder, where did it go wrong for me?
There's so many ways it went wrong.
Yeah,
man. I mean,
a lot of ways.
You did everything wrong. Good Lord, Remco. And finally, Adrian Mateos is also a very young player, just 23 years old. As you see here, 23 cashes this year in 2017, which, by the way, isn't over yet, for over $3 million. So big money for Adrian Mateos, born in Spain, youngest player to win 3 World Series of Poker bracelets.
This guy is incredible. If you compare him to Fedor Holz, what he's done might even be more impressive if you look at his results and the way he's gotten them. At age 18, he won the World Series of Poker Europe main event, or at age 19, I should say. Then he won the EPT Grand Final, and then he won a World Series of Poker bracelet, of which now he has 3. So he got that triple crown, so to say, in that order, if you want to look at that like that, in a very, very short span of time. And he's cashed for so many millions. And we're going to see him on the feature table on PokerGo that is kicking off in just a few minutes as he's going up to Eric Seidel and Doug Polk.
Yeah, it's always fascinating to watch these guys who are 23 years old, still very young in their poker lives, going up against the likes of Phil Hellmuth, who also started young but has been at it for the last 30 years. You know, it's really interesting to see whether or not that new school, how they compete against the old school, very much like we see in golf, you know, where you have some of the younger players that are chomping at the bit to go up against the likes of the Phil Mickelsons of the world. This is a fantastic comparison because somebody, only one though, will be crowned the Poker Master. And we are just moments away from the stream going live on PokerGo. Again, use that promo code MASTERS17 if you want to get yourself a discount on that annual pass. Remco, always a pleasure to be alongside you. The Ivey Room here in Las Vegas at the ARIA has been a great spot to broadcast from. This is where we'll be every single day.
I'm going to hide under the table after this broadcast ends just to find out what kind of game they're playing in here. But I heard a rumor of a 300, 600, 1200 cash game. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's not a rumor. The poker room manager told us that was going to
I just wanted to make it seem like it was very exciting and under wraps. But yes, Poker Masters kicking off on PokerGo, and we'll be back in the Ivey Room tomorrow.
Yep. Go subscribe right now, PokerGo.com. Use that promo code MASTERS17 alongside Remco. Great to be with you today. Thank you for watching the PokerGo pre-show.